let's not even start on Messi yet, because we're two United fans here, or a CR7 fan here sitting here. I don't know what you are or what you want to be. You're clearly going to tell us now. But the fact that Ronaldo has returned home, Real Madrid ain't his home. He's come home to Manchester United Football Club. Come on.
You know what I think when I think of this? You know, as a man, you will date many women. And in the time that you date many women, you will always find one woman that you end up going back to. Like Ben Affleck did with Jennifer Lopez. And I think that's how Ronaldo, and that's how I see this Ronaldo United transfer. It's the greatest transfer in history. And I'll tell you why it's the greatest transfer in history, because for me, just the transfer, and I know this is bias, but it's the right kind of bias. It puts Ronaldo's legacy as the greatest cemented. You know, I think I put out a tweet in the beginning of the year when, or after Messi won the Copa America, that if Ronaldo wants to catch up with the Ballon d'Ors, he needs to go to PSG. So that if he wins the Champions Leagues, he can run a riot in League One, he can run a riot with the Champions Leagues. And I just think that Ronaldo at 36 coming back to the Premier League, there's so much that we're looking at here. It's the legacy move. It's the fans. You know, it's interesting when you look at Ronaldo's reception with Manchester United fans. They adore him more than they do Rooney, Scholes, Giggs. It's like hysteria at Old Trafford. I mean, I don't even want to get into the shirt sales and, you know, all those, you know, nuances.
32 million.
I just think when you look at Ronaldo, there's the possibility that in the course, because I think he'll play the 2 years and get another 1 year extension.
I agree.
You know, I think
his fitness is insane.
Yeah, but I just think, you know, before we even get to that, I think from the football side, a lot of United fans like us that, let's say, watch Ronaldo 7 or 8, they need to say, we're not getting that winger now. We're getting the Ronaldo that's now in the box centre forward. And I mean, he's the kind of guy where he doesn't need to be in a game for 88 minutes. But those last 2 minutes, he can get you 2 headers and win like he did in Portugal.
I just want to say this from a football perspective. It's actually, aside from the serendipitous moment of him returning home and all that sweet kind of stuff, from a football perspective, it's a clever transfer because we needed a goal scorer. We needed someone that's going to bag us goals. We can't just rely on Cavani, and Martial's another different story. Although I still think there's a player there, but wherever it's going to come out, who knows? I mean, it's actually an intelligent transfer from United and Ronaldo, because purely because the fact that he's going to be playing the role that he needs to play, where at PSG he probably still would have played that role, but it would have been interesting. It would have been interesting dynamic between him, Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe. But at United, he's going to be the key man where he should be.
You know, I just think that, like, with this whole Ronaldo saga, this is where I start off with the legacy move. You know, it's coming back to the club where he won his first league, he won his first Ballon d'Or, and at the same time, at the same time, this is where I say the legacy move comes in. The last time United won the Champions League was 07-08, when Ronaldo was there. Since then, they've never won the Champions League. And you know, there's this joke that was, you know, meme where, you know, United replaced Ronaldo with Ronaldo, you know, after like 13-year loan.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at United now, on Ronaldo, just the Ronaldo transfer, if in the next 3 years he leads United to a Premier League or a Champions League, I don't only think that solidifies him as the GOAT, but I think it's almost as though you can't deny that he'd be the most impactful player in history. You know, because United have gone, it's nearing a decade now without a Premier League. It's gone a decade without a Champions League. And, you know, you're looking at what he's done. Look, I think you also got to look at the counterpart. Imagine if he went to Man City. I think it wouldn't have tarnished his legacy, because he would have chased, you know, individual glory. And I think he would have done well at City. But I think what it would have done, was that United's pull is immense. And, you know, you look at, you know, what people would have dubbed him a traitor. It would have been worse than Figo at Real Madrid with the pig head.
That's what I was going to say. I'll be the first to admit, with the few days of rumours that he was going to City, and it's not a lie. Like, there was a lot of evidence that Jorge Mendes was obviously negotiating with City before Man United finally woke up and did the right thing. I was lambasting him. If he went to City, it would have broke my heart. Honestly, I mean, United fans have supported and loved him since he left us. There's been no bad blood between United fans and him. And if he went to City, yeah, I probably would have cried myself to sleep. But the fact that he's come home and he's realised what United means to him, let me discard that. I think he's always known what United means to him, but the things he's done, and putting a smile back on Sir Alex's face. I know Sir Alex Ferguson had a massive part to play in his return, as well as Adrian Bruno. But I mean, it's massive. I mean, shirt sales, I mean, social media, it's like one of the
it broke the internet.
Yeah, it's one of the most tweeted things I think it was the highest liked tweet when United.
That was the
officially
highest
announced
like Instagram pic and
And
and the
Instagram.
highest tweeted.
and Instagrams. I mean, and I agree with you. I think if he has a solid 2 seasons like we've seen his numbers over the last few years, it could get interesting with the whole GOAT debate and what he's viewed at, especially. And if he achieves enough, if he maybe so say brings us a league or two at a Champions League, it'll be hard to deny he might be United's greatest ever player.
Yeah, I also think, you know what, when I look at the league, I think the golden era of that Premier League was the 2000s to 2010s, and now it's nearing that revival. You know, Liverpool recently won a Champions League, Chelsea's won a Champions League, United's in the Europa League finals, United are looking strong, Chelsea's looking strong, City's looking strong, you know, obviously bar Arsenal, you know, recent times. But if Ronaldo, his transfer comes, one thing we also don't realize is that United hasn't yet won under Ole. And Ronaldo brings that winning mentality there. And players at that level demand the best from other players. And you could see players like, you know, Matic experience a season revival, guys experience revivals, and then, you know, you have...
One thing to add on to that is, I think Ronaldo's influence and his persona and his whole... I think he's going to be the type of player that can do so much good for players like Greenwood, Rashford, just as a pure example and someone to look up to. And just seeing his hard work, his training, his movement in the box, his vision, his all around how he approaches the game. I think it'll do wonders for the youth.
And I also think from a pure footballing perspective, I think, you know, this is something that's because I love Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, when the announcement was made, I was thinking of J. Cole's Wet Dreams because, you know, I wet myself. You know, it was a beautiful kind of wetness, right? And I think when
what a hell of a turnaround from going on the verge of City to returning home.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is? There is something, and this is the counterpart I think a lot of people need to understand. I watched Ronaldo at Madrid and I watched Ronaldo at Juventus, and now he's coming to United. This version of Ronaldo, you need to buy into the Ronaldo project. And when I say that, I mean at Real Madrid, when they did the 3P Champions League team, they surrounded him with great players. And you had that diamond formation, Benzema, Ronaldo, Isco, Modric, Kroos, Casemiro, and they played for Ronaldo. And when you play for Ronaldo, like you just put him in the box and let him do his thing, you'll win, you know, 3 Champions Leagues in a row. But then you go to Juventus, and then mismanagement at the club. I mean, they traded Danilo for João Cancelo, they brought in Ramsey, they took out Pjanic. You know, the club didn't have the financial capacity to afford the Ronaldo transfer, to surround him with the players needed. You need to buy into the Ronaldo project. So I think
it's fair to say Ronaldo didn't fail Juventus. Juventus failed.
Yeah, and I think when you look at him coming to United, United now need to buy into the Ronaldo project because, you know, we had a discussion, you know, off air with the group where, you know, you can't have sort of buy into the trust the process with Ole without having a base. Ronaldo brings that base where, you know, if we start winning trophies and then once he leaves, guys like Greenwood, you know, have already won trophies, they have that sort of background of winning. And right now, you know, they've lost 4 semi-finals, lost a Europa League final. At least with Ronaldo, it's that game-changing decisive factor.
We all saying it's been the craziest transfer market ever because of what happened with Ronaldo and Messi, of course. Like, nobody expected them to move. And I like the whole thing of that. You know, maybe they moved, it was just a domino effect. And we see that often in the transfer market. Yeah. But we've also seen... something I want to talk about is basically the 100 million price tag. You know, I feel like there's no player that has actually lived up to that 100 million price tag. Like every time a player moves from one club to another for over 100 million, it somehow they flop. You know, like we've seen it with Dembele, we've seen it like Coutinho. Like we can go through this list. It's almost like South American attackers playing for United. It just doesn't work with United. Like I don't know what's wrong, like what mutti there is. But like yeah, like you know, Diego Forlan, like we've had so much good South Americans. Like Cavani is now, you know, at least he's coming and doing it for us. So he's like kind of broken that curse. But yeah, and I think that there's a good opportunity for Lukaku playing in the team that he's in to actually break that 100 million and actually prove that I am in J, I'm worth 100 million. What do you guys think about this transfer market? Like,
it's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
You can't argue. I mean, if you look at, and there's been in the Premier League alone, there were 200 million moves. The other one was Grealish. So I was actually saying to you guys earlier that I really hope he does well, just because of how faithful he was at Villa. At this point in his career, he only had to move up, you know, like he had to move to a place where he can actually challenge for silverware, and you know. So I really hope he does well. With regards to Lukaku, I think Lukaku's already shown how effective he can be in
with
the
a
Chelsea
good team
squad.
around.
Yes.
Before even the Chelsea.
Yeah,
Look at what
Inter.
he did with Inter and the build that Inter. And Chelsea play they set up very similar to how Conte sets
Inter,
out
yes.
Inter. You know, with 3 at the back with your wing backs. So I do believe that Lukaku at this time has the
Break them
perfect guys around him to win the top goal scorer,
Yeah.
to win the Golden Boot.
He's not lucky though. Lukaku is not lucky because
Still don't
you
have
could
the
have
first
come
touch.
to United and do this then Arsenal. You didn't have a first touch when you came to United. Now suddenly you got a first touch. You can build up play. You bring other O's into the
Stop being so sour.
No, but bro, I'm just like, oh, it's like almost like you see a lady that you left now, and now you see her with the new guy, and she's gymming, she's doing her thing, she's looking fine, and now you're like, why couldn't you do this with me? You know what I'm saying? And this is how I feel about Lukaku. I'm watching him at Chelsea, and I'm like, this thing is nice, bro. Like I can't even hate on him. Like he's playing well.
Yeah, I get you.
So what I will say about Lukaku coming to United is that the pressure was a lot greater at United.
Yeah.
For him to succeed when he came to United specifically, he came in at a point where the club wasn't in the best position. And he was almost expected to get 25 goals that season. And
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair.
A lot of players I've seen have suffered with us because of our how things were going in our team at the time.
The pressure of
The
United is
the
a real
coach as
now.
well, the manager. He's not someone who will grow with a player. He wants to get his player.
He wants
He
ready-made
wants
men.
ready-made men. He's not willing to give you that chance to prove
You-
yourself.
Now
One,
here's
two
someone.
games.
Here's someone that is kind of doing that, and that is Vieira. So Vieira now managing Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know this, but like he's been a manager for quite some time, right? And apparently, when Arsenal were looking for a new manager and they gave Arteta the job, like Vieira was never even contacted or like made aware of it or anything like that. And you could argue that. I mean, I don't think you can argue. He was a better player for Arsenal.
Than Arteta.
And what he's done now at Crystal Palace, bringing in all these youngsters.
I believe that Arteta came from an assistant coach position to go to Arsenal.
Definitely,
You know,
bro.
it's
That's
not- it's
all
not-
a bit
not the
like.
jump you
It's
want to
not the
make.
jump you want to make. Look at Steven Gerrard at the moment. Look where he's and look at Frank Lampard and the jump he made. From
Too soon. Too soon. He got to there.
Yeah,
He's like, hey.
Ole as well. Ole started with Sunderland.
Please.
He got, no, Cardiff.
Cardiff,
And he
yeah.
got been relegated, but
Yeah.
he moved to Norway and he's won the league there a couple of times. He's
But
had-
United isn't the next jump though. For me, like Ole wasn't ready for this job at all.
but I'm saying that in the gap year, he's had experience.
Yeah, no, I get
He's
you.
never just made that one
I get
league.
you, yeah.
You know, where Arteta's made.
Yeah.
Biggest transfers of the season, obviously, Ronaldo and Messi.
They take it.
Yeah.
Insane.
Let's see what underdog transfers or what transfers.
So for me, Lukaku, Grealish.
You can't say underdogs though, because
Okay, no,
those are
not
like
underdogs.
So guys that will come into the light that's almost it went kind of under the radar.
under the radar, yeah.
You know, I believe Anza said this as well. Brian Gill, give him time at Tottenham
Yeah.
with the manager that's there. He will be a good shot.
For me, I think Michel Olise from Crystal Palace. He's recently moved there.
Yes.
He's like
Yes.
people don't understand that he is actually like in the same category as Kamavinga. Like he is one of these French lighties that like people rate like and rave about.
Yeah.
And I would say like he's a transfer that I think is like it's it's an underdog, but he could prove to be quite useful.
I think another shout for that is Trincao. That went to
Oh.
Wolves.
Yo, what he did to us the other day.
He destroyed Fred bounced off him, bruh. I was like,
A very good shout. The only thing I would say is that it's unfortunate that it's a loan. I really hope that
That he-
Wolves
he
do what they
signs
can
on.
to sign, because having a Dalman Traore and having Trincao destroyed United. We don't know what we don't
know what to do.
destroyed us.
And Wolves have now lost 3 in a row, but very very unfortunate.
Yes,
Every
Spurs as well.
single
Spurs
one.
edged it as well,
Every
yeah.
single one has been,
They've been playing good
they've
football.
been playing good football, positive football, very attacking football. So Wolves, with the players and with the squad that they have now and what they brought in with Trincao, think they're gonna have. I want him to do better. I want him to have a good season, bro. I'm really looking forward to that.
It's interesting though, because remember when we did the first video, we were talking about Rafa Benitez and how he's going to be the biggest flop. He looks really good at the moment. Like the everything side and playing
he brought in
decent football.
Rondon. He's a player from that was with him at Newcastle.
Yes, Newcastle was where he was. I was talking. We were talking about it on the deadline day saga. The fact that Ronaldo has come into a team that has the likes of Calvert-Lewin. I think it will just light a fire.
Charleston as well.
Yeah.
Because those two young talents that could be quite like world class even at some point if they do the right things.
But now,
winning mentality.
But now we need to discuss the Messi PSG one.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna be difficult to get us off this topic, but I mean, the fact that we're not gonna be seeing Messi in a Barcelona shirt for the near future it's almost hard to even believe. I mean, when the news broke that Barcelona he was gonna go on a free transfer, free agent, and Barcelona couldn't re-sign him because of the Liga's new rules and his contract and his wages. I mean, I was in disbelief when someone, actually I was at work and someone told me about it and I'm like, nah, you're talking shit. I mean, they'll never let Messi leave and Messi doesn't want to leave. And then the next day, he's signing for PSG practically. I mean, I was in disbelief. I don't know how you felt. I mean,
I think for me, I couldn't care less. It's like Shrek 2 or Shrek 3. When the fairy godmother tells Shrek, if you really love her, you have to let her go. And if Barcelona really love Messi, they had to let him go. So they can expose the fraud that he is outside of Barcelona. Right? No, on a more serious note.
No, I don't believe in that shit. I'm sorry, in football...
Don't stop it, don't do that. Here you go, get into a blasphemous talk.
In football, you keep a hold of your best players as far and as long as possible as you can.
No, I will say this.
And on top of what we said about Juventus failing Ronaldo, Barcelona failed Messi.
Well, towards the end.
I mean, putting guys like Griezmann on 800,000...
But that's what I was going to say, is that, when you look at Barcelona, and also there was the report of
structures.
Not just the wage structure, but how Barcelona treated players outside of the football itself, like scouts. Scouts were getting paid like 2 million, and they just simply couldn't afford Lionel Messi. And I think if the reason you can't keep Messi is because you can't afford Messi, then you have failed Lionel Messi.
Bartomeu should be in fucking prison, if you ask me.
Okay, but what about the Messi to PSG transfer? Does he give them the edge to win the Champions League?
I think with him, if they don't, they can only blame themselves. I mean, the fact that they've got a player who led Argentina to the Copa America, who's still at unbelievable stats in the last 4 years. He's 34 now.
Yeah.
I mean, and to be honest, his level hasn't dropped. I don't think it's dropped much. And obviously, I think the league titles are pretty much a given in France. I think the UCL will still be interesting, as it always is. But I think if PSG, with the squad that they've stacked now, and with Messi leading at the front, if they don't win the Champions League, it's hopeless for them. It's never going to happen.
But then, do you think if Lionel Messi doesn't win the Champions League with Barcelona, it affects his legacy with Ronaldo?
I mean, with PSG.
With PSG.
It depends. I mean,
that's that team.
No, but look at what he's been doing for Barcelona the last few years, almost on his own, and they haven't won enough, but he's still been doing the numbers and playing at that level where Barcelona should be winning things. But if he's doing it on his own, at the end of the day, the football's a team sport. If PSG don't help him out,
but I mean,
I think he'll do enough.
But this is a different kettle of fish. When last has Lionel Messi? Let's say Suarez, Neymar, Messi. That was when he had that brilliant. This is now an attack where you're looking at it. You're looking at the team top bottom. This is probably the most stacked team he's ever been in.
Yeah.
And well, let's not. Okay, take away Oito.
Let's not even bring up the.
But in recent times, and here's the thing, Mbappe is a rising star, if not the biggest young talent in football. We all know who Neymar is. You got the likes of Ramos at the back. One thing we actually don't talk about PSG is they have the best kind of conundrums. If they can choose at the goalkeeping position between Donnarumma and Navas, and you look at Lionel Messi, and I'm thinking, for me, it would be an outright failure. Not just for PSG, but for Lionel Messi if they don't win the Champions League. Look, I think...
I mean, if they don't even make it to the final, Pochettino will probably take the blame for it, as he probably should, considering the team that he has. But I mean, if they don't make the final...
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But I think that's why we boiled it down to the two things, though. Which is the bigger transfer? Messi to PSG, Ronaldo to United? No, there you got the blasphemous.
I don't know, Brazil United. As a United fan, Ronaldo coming back to the club, it meant so much, and it's actually made me look forward to this current season. It's given me more hope of actually winning something this season, because Aweh is still, we don't know. Even with the likes of Iran and Sancho coming in, I was still unsure. I still think we should have been in the top two, but now with Ronaldo, it's arguable to say that if we don't win something, it's a failure.
But I know I look at it.
Ronaldo will definitely do the things that he always does.
Tell me, in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, when he sees Peggy Carter and he's like, "You came back. It's been so long." Ronaldo came back, and this is what I'm getting at.
It's been too long.
The narrative, though, it's the narrative. This is why I say the transfer is just bigger, because what has happened, not just post-Ronaldo, but post-Ferguson. Because I won't say it's all just like, oh, the demise happened after Ronaldo, because Ferguson held it together for a while. They did win a league after him, And look, I'm not going to be hypocritical about that, but I would say that given what's happened to United in recent history, they've had an influx of managers, Mikel, Mourinho, Moyes. They've had big spending that didn't work, failed sevens. And then if Ronaldo comes and the league is back, people are going to look and be like, you know what? The Premier League being the most competitive league, for many people, they hold that view. For most people, I'm sure they hold that view. If he comes in and scores 25 plus goals in the league, gets 30 plus goals for the next 2-3 seasons, and United win silverware, you can't look and say, you know what, this is not just the greatest, but the most decisive player, impactful player in the history of football. For Lionel Messi, I think, I boil back to what I said earlier. With Lionel Messi winning the Copa America, I think if Jorginho wins the Ballon d'Or over him, it'll be like blasphemy, Because Lionel Messi didn't even make the UEFA best three.
If they give it to Jorginho over him, then Ballon d'Or should flippantly forsaken.
Now I think that's why I put that tweet out. If Ronaldo wants to catch up to Ballon d'Ors, he must go to PSG. Because it's all about a guarantee. You're going to win the leagues, you're going to get tons of goals, and you're going to probably challenge for the Champions League. With United, there's a story, there's a narrative here. It's like, I wouldn't say the king, because the king is Cantona, but it's like the GOAT has returned.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. From a business perspective and from a trophy winning kind of trying to get to that standard, the Messi to PSG move makes sense. It's a massive transfer. But from a footballing overall, fans, hearts, legacy, as you've mentioned, missing the guy, if I have to put it from a humanistic perspective, the Ronaldo transfer is bigger, because it just meant so much to United fans, arguably the most supported club in the world. So it's a homecoming. It's that last dance, as a lot of people have mentioned, and honestly, I think we're all just grateful to have him back.
Oh, so sweet. Look, I think the thing is, like, when I look at Manchester United right now with this whole Ronaldo saga, I think what a lot of fans need to understand, and this is now back to the football, is that this Ronaldo is the centre forward Ronaldo. You're not going to get a lot of running down the wing. And he will drift to the wing from time to time.
We're still going to sing that song.
Yeah, he will drift to the wing from time to time, but he's the kind of guy where if you give him service, he'll do the job.
Fuck it, he's in the box, cross.
Exactly. Just take out Wan-Bissaka there, because no.
That's why we have Sancho now. Well,
I don't know. I don't know if Sancho will do so hot in his first season. I think the Ronaldo transfer eclipses Messi's for one reason. That's like we've discussed now, the legacy. And obviously people are going to say, oh, there's bias because it's United shirts here. But I think what I can't look at Messi from a pure footballing perspective and say that, oh, it's bigger. It's purely because of the people he's surrounded with. And that's not to say at United Ronaldo has, average players, but PSG, we're looking at them and we're saying they're the best transfer window of any club in recent history. They have arguably the second greatest footballer, in my opinion, in history. The most exciting youngster in history. They have the most exciting youngster of recent times. They got Sergio Ramos, who is arguably, debatably, with Xavi, Iniesta, David Villa, the greatest Spanish footballer of all time. You're looking at them and you're thinking, okay, what would actually be a failure? Not even just not getting, but not winning the Champions League.
It's almost actually hard to rationalize the fact that if they don't win, what's going to happen if they don't win? That's how stacked they are. I can't understand a scenario or predict a scenario where they don't win.
Well, the only thing I will say is that
the Champions League.
Don't you think this is PSG's recent problem? Is that because the league became so redundant and that there's not real, Bayern have Dortmund, Bayern have certain teams that do give them not a challenge, but who's the actual competitive team in the league?
A fucking money bank.
Yeah, but who's the actual competitive team in League One that just gives them a little run for their money?
Like you said, Lille's
So-
not what they were last
Exactly.
season.
Now, when they come to the Champions League and they come against the likes of your Bayern, even your Chelseas and stuff, guys that go against competitive teams, especially in England, you know, they struggle to pick up their level.
Now, UCL heritage is or experience, in another word, it's something that you need. I mean, United, when we have been in the Champions League, a lot of the times we've obviously, minus last season. I mean, the first season when we were in the Champions League under Mourinho and Van Gaal, we did better than expected. And I think it's not because down to the players, it's down to the fact that we had that UCL experience or UCL heritage, and PSG just don't have that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And that's like, you know, City. You saw that for them against Chelsea in the final.
Okay, so we're gonna just wrap it up there. I want to ask. I just want to thank everybody for watching our channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Leave comments below. If you think we're talking shit, if you disagree with anything we say, just tell us in the comments below, guys. We love the interaction with you guys. We wanna do more where we involve the fans and your opinions. But thank you so much for watching today, and please give us a like and subscribe. We really appreciate it.